What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Mets Central's Mets Fan Reaction Game 157, where the New York Mets dropped the opening game of this three-game set against the Milwaukee Brewers by a score of 8-4. Before we get into the post-game recap, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe on the channel. Greatly appreciate you guys' support on the channel. Also, make sure to turn on post notifications as well to let you know anytime we upload a video or go live on the channel. But yeah, let's get into this post-game recap. And listen, what else is there to say? It's another disappointment. It's another disappointing game by the New York Mets. And another performance where, we look at it as fans and it's like, these guys were not ready to play tonight. And it was obvious because, once again, very similar to the first game of the Atlanta series where, they only played one game because the other two games got put into a rain delay and we'll have to make them up on Monday. But it's very similar in the sense where, again, you get poor starting pitching, you get very poor defense, and the offense, well, sure, they scored 4 runs, but let's be honest, like, the offense today wasn't that good. There was a lot of poor at-bats today and a lot of just poor plate approaches at the plate. And, like, listen, I get it. There's 4 games left, right? And the Mets, as of today, because of the San Diego Padres beating the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight, they are still in a playoff spot. But you have 4 more games left, 2 more against the Brewers and 2 more against the Atlanta Braves on Monday, which those are makeup games. This team has to wake up because right now their margin for error is slim to none. They have to wake up and they have to win tomorrow's game. Because listen, I get it. Like, there's a huge safety net for this team where even if they get swept by the Milwaukee Brewers, there's still a chance that they could somehow make the playoffs. The only problem is that whole hypothetical situation would then depend on them going to Atlanta on Monday and winning both games. And listen, I always try to be as confident and try to be as positive about this Mets team because let's face it, this team this season, it has been a fun season, right? You had a lot of highs, a lot of lows, and it's probably been one of the craziest Mets seasons that I've ever watched, right? But, like, let's be honest with ourselves. If they have to go to Atlanta and they have to win both games, like, I'm sorry, like, they won't make the playoffs. If they have to go there and only win 1, cool, they have a shot. But if they gotta go there and win 2 games, listen, at that point, for me, at that point, I'm just going by hope at that point because realistically, I don't think any Met fan could just look at that situation and go, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Go 2 games to Atlanta, we'll win them? Yeah, 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 we got that." No. No, and it's just it's really disappointing, right? Because you look at this team, this roster, this group of guys, and you're thinking to yourself like, "Oh, maybe we really have something different. Maybe we finally have guys that, could play under pressure and towards the end of the season like they'll be cool, composed, and they got this and they'll win these games and they'll get into the playoffs." Now, listen, I get it. It's 2 games. But the way that this team has played in these 2 games against the Braves and the Brewers tonight, it's unacceptable. It is completely unacceptable because, like I said, poor pitching, poor defense, and poor offense. And it pretty much started from the beginning, right? Because MANAEA today, listen, I love MANAEA. He's had a very good regular season with the Mets. He's been their Cy Young, but in a game where he had to come up big. And listen, I get it. He was supposed to pitch yesterday. He got 1 more day of rest. And listen, pitchers are creatures of habit. They have very strict guidelines. They have set routines. They have their days where their rest days, and they always want to stay on top of that. But I'm sorry, Shaman and I had to be a lot better today. He was just not good, and part of the reason why is because he did not have control of his fastball. And we have seen ever since that series against the Braves back in Citi Field where he watched Chris Sale pitch and he adjusted his arm slot, his main weapon and a big reason why he has succeeded over the past, 2 months is due to that fastball, especially the high fastball. And tonight, he just couldn't locate that fastball to save his life. He wasn't great. The defense, there was multiple examples tonight of the defense just being poor. Whether that be Tyrone Taylor when the game's already down 4-0, and the ball gets sent to the outfield. He tries to make a diving play. It gets past him. A run scores, and it's like, bro, like, why are you trying to play heroic defense? Like, you're already down by 4 runs. Like, be smart. Let the ball come down and play it on a hop. There was no reason to dive for that ball whatsoever. Francisco Alvarez tonight behind the plate was terrible. He could not block a ball to save his life. I mean, it was just it was just terrible. And not only to mention that, but the Brewers were just running all over the Mets today. They could not stop them on the base paths. I mean, it was just this game looked very similar to what we saw with the Mets against the Brewers in that opening series of the season, where they just took them to town, and it looked like the Brewers were just a team that's been there before, done that, and the Mets looked like a team full of rookies that had never even played in the major leagues before. I mean, that's how bad it was. And then, we get to the plate approaches by some of these guys, right? I mean, Pete Alonso 3-0. Now listen, I get it. Pete Alonso's a power threat. You're supposed to, you're supposed to let a guy like that swing 3-0 and try to, hit the ball. But again, poor pitch selection. He ends up grounding out to end the inning. JD Martinez has just been terrible. He has been terrible. And there needs to be a serious discussion about him just not playing the rest of the year. Because I'm sorry, I like JD. I love the signing. He was great earlier on the season, but he is just being a huge detriment to this team right now. Because his at-bats right now that he's taken, lifeless. Lifeless. And I'm sorry, and it's not good enough. And I'm sure he knows that because he's a veteran. He's been around the MLB for a long time. He's played in a lot of big games. He has to know that his performances right now are not good enough. I mean, it's terrible. And then later on in the game, right? The Mets down by a couple runs. They have a couple guys on base. Luis Torrens comes in because Francisco Alvarez got hurt on a play sliding, which I still don't know why he slid on that play. Anyway, he came out of the game. Hopefully he's all right. We have to see, obviously tomorrow whether his back's okay. They said back spasms in terms of that, so hopefully he's all right. But yeah, Luis Torrens, he comes up. The Brewers put in a new pitcher, and he swings first pitch, and that kills the Mets, streak of potentially putting together a big inning. But the Mets right now, they're just playing terrible baseball, and they're playing terrible baseball at the wrong time. Listen, there is still time to turn this around, but obviously they got to go out and win tomorrow. Jose Quintana's on the mound tomorrow. Do I have the exact utmost confidence in Quintana? No, but he has pitched well recently, so I'll give him that. But they need a big start from him tomorrow, and they just need to be on point tomorrow. I need to see better at-bats, better defense, and just better concentration, because right now it's like, bro, listen, it's crunch time right now. Like, guys have to be on point. And I'm talking about guys like Pete Alonso, which, again, had a horrible game. Brandon Nimmo did not have a good game again. These guys, they need to step up and be one of the leaders and be one of these guys that pushes this team over the top into a playoff spot. And right now it's like, where are you guys? Where are you? I mean, look, they got fortunate today, like I mentioned before, with the Padres being the Diamondbacks. So they are still in a playoff spot tonight. But listen, they have to win the series. It's imperative that they win tomorrow and that they win Sunday's game, because, like I mentioned before at the start, if they have to go into Atlanta where they have to win 2 games, I'm sorry, I just don't see it happening. But listen, let's see what happens. Guys, yeah, that was the post game recap. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said before, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on post notifications as well. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for another post game recap. Peace, baby. Let's go, Mets.